and I'll let him explain all of that and also allow him to give you a brief background. So for now, I want to hand this over to Saqib, and we'll have a discussion with him. And like I said, let's keep it informal. If you want to come in and ask a question, put it on the chat or anywhere else, and we'll try to address it immediately. Saqib, over to you. Thank you.
You can hear me now? You can hear me now. Perfect. Okay, I was muted before. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, Arshad Pai. I'm Saqib Ali. Thank you very much for being here today. I live in Montgomery County, Maryland, Gaithersburg specifically. I've met some of you before. Maybe you remember me, maybe you don't. And for those of you who I haven't met before, it's a pleasure to meet you. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. I live in Gaithersburg. I'm a software engineer. I work for a video game company called ZeniMax Media, also known as Bethesda Softworks. We make very famous video games, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, very famous video games. We were actually recently purchased by Microsoft. So I'm a Microsoft employee now. So this is my full-time career is I'm a software engineer. On the side, I also do politics. And I have history. I was in elective office many years ago. In 2006, I was elected. I was the first Muslim elected official in the history of Maryland. I was elected to the Maryland House of Delegates. But in fact, my history is actually as an activist in American Muslim politics, in many different causes having to do with American Muslims. Whether it's to do with building a mosque, whether it's to do with fighting Islamophobia, whether it's to do with racial profiling, whether it's to do with standing up for Palestine, whether it's to do with fighting against Hindutva, whether it's to do with freeing those who are wrongly imprisoned, whether it's to do with any number of injustices that are unfortunately inflicted upon the American Muslim community and the Muslim community around the world. There are many injustices that are almost, specifically inflicted upon Muslims. Muslims are in concentration camps in China today. And American Muslims, I feel, are in a unique position to raise their voices against these injustices. American, Muslims were victims of genocide in Bosnia, right? Horrors throughout the world. Sometimes I feel like these, Muslims were the Muslim ban. We are victims of a Muslim ban. Unbelievable, right? Donald Trump's Muslim ban. So, I think, I don't feel ashamed to say that in the 10 or 15 or 20 years, whatever, I've been an adult in this country. I've made it sort of the point of my public life to stand publicly opposing and advocating publicly for American Muslims and Muslims throughout the globe, and also talking to non-Muslims and telling them, hey guys, this is a big deal. This is like, Germany in 1938, right? And don't just sit on your hands. You have to stand up for this too. Um, when you see Muslims in concentration camps in China, you should be screaming. You should be talking about boycotting the 2022 Olympics in China. You should be calling Joe Biden and telling him that America should boycott the China Olympics, right? Because Hitler had the Olympics in Germany in 38 or 40, I can't remember, to excuse me, to whitewash the Holocaust. And if China has the Olympics in 2022, it will be to whitewash their genocide or whatever the hell they're doing in Xinjiang. So, I've had different roles in my life. Sometimes just as an activist, sometimes as a guy on Facebook screaming, sometimes as a public official, sometimes as a plaintiff in a lawsuit. Currently, I'm suing Larry Hogan because he has a anti-BDS executive order against people who boycott Israel. I'm suing him, saying that he's violating my civil rights. So I've tried to use whatever levers of power in however many different ways I can to cleverly advance the rights of Muslims. Because and not just I'm saying that not just because for Muslims, but these are universal rights of all people, but Muslims in particular have had their rights circumscribed. So let me make a quick presentation, if you don't mind. Let me share my screen. Where's the screen share button here? So can you guys see my screen, hopefully?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is just some background about me in particular. My name is Saqib. In 1975, I was born in Chicago to immigrant Pakistani parents. When I was 7 years old, so this is my personal history. My family moved to Saudi Arabia. My father got a job there, just like many. I think it's a part of the Desi life cycle of every Desi that they have to, they pupate, and then in the adolescent phase, they move to the Middle East. It's just part of every Desi has that phase of their life cycle where they have a small phase in the Middle East. So I grew up in the Middle East. I grew up in Saudi Arabia. And I went to high school there and graduated from high school in Saudi Arabia. And then when I returned to the US, I came to Maryland. I went to the University of Maryland, studied computer science, graduated with a bachelor's and master's from the University of Maryland College Park. After I graduated from there, I actually met my wife at my first job, and I got married. I have 2 daughters. You see them here. In 2006, I ran for state delegate. Okay. And one of the things when I ran, you have to understand, it was 2006, George Bush was the president. there was no Muslims elected to office in Maryland. And the entire Muslim community in Montgomery County, which was significantly large, they told me not to run. They told me, don't run. You can't run. You're going to lose. Don't even think about it. It's crazy. Don't think about it. Don't run, because you're not going to win. Everybody hates Muslims. That was the idea. And I said, no, I don't really think they hate Muslims. I think you're a little bit paranoid. And these people are all very nice. They're not that racist as you imagine. My wife is not a Muslim, and I know her, and she's not racist, and probably most of the other people around here are kind of like her. So, and if I could convince her to marry me, probably I can convince the rest of these dudes to at least vote for me. So, and they did. Because most of the people, especially in the Democratic primary, which is Montgomery County, they're not racist and they're cool. So I unseated an incumbent in the Democratic primary in 2006. And in Montgomery County, when you win the Democratic primary, the general election is automatic. The Democrat always beats the Republican. In the assembly, I'm a liberal Democrat. I'm a progressive. I'm on the left edge of the Democratic Party. I'm, kind of where AOC is, where Ilhan Omar is, where Keith Ellison is. Those are my politics. I'm Medicare for all kind of person, Green New Deal. Those are the kinds of things that I advocate. I'm, those are my politics. That's also where my constituency is in Montgomery County. I'll skip past this a little bit. So in 2010, instead of running for re-election, I decided that I would run for the state Senate. I lost that election. It was a very, very close election. It was a very hard-fought election. I was running an insurgent campaign trying to unseat the incumbent state senator. She was a favorite of insiders. I was a liberal outsider trying to take on an insider. I came up just short. So I lost that. So I went back to being a private citizen in 2010. But I was still engaged in political issues and advocating for our community. And one of the things I'm most proud about is, in 2015, for many years, I kept advocating. And you can see here in 2015, I fought for Montgomery County Public Schools to close on Eid. Our schools were closing on Christmas and Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, but they stayed open on Eid. And I pushed and pushed, and I led a campaign for many years asking them to close on Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. And I just thought it was, frankly, kind of bigoted, unequal. Not explicitly bigoted, but it was a blind spot. It was bigoted by omission, by ignoring the needs of this community. So I pushed on them for 2 years. I led this campaign called Equality for Eid. And after 2 years of pushing very hard, they gave days off for Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. And now in Montgomery County, they close on these 2 days. It's great. Kids get a day off. They don't have to miss Eid, and they don't have to miss school. They don't have to miss Eid prayers. Then they don't miss any classes. And in fact, after that, Howard County gave a day off. Baltimore County gave a day off. I think other I'm not sure about Anne Arundel County, but I think it's kind of like a domino effect. Other counties are starting to give days off now too. And they're now giving like Diwali off. They're giving Chinese Lunar New Year off. It's a real domino effect, even for other faiths. So I love it, and I feel like it's a great credit to me. It's one of the best things I did. And I wasn't in public office when I did this. I did this after I left public office. The other thing I did after I left public office is this thing that I told you about. I'm suing Governor Hogan, Larry Hogan, because he instituted an executive order saying that anybody who wants a state contract with the government of Maryland, if you want a state contract with the government of Maryland, they put out lots of state contracts, RFPs. They need people to plug potholes. They need people to cut haircuts for prisoners. But if you want to go be a barber and cut any of the prisoners' hair, you have to sign the contract. You sign, you have to promise not to boycott Israel. It's crazy. It's quite ludicrous. If you want to fill potholes for Maryland, you have to sign a contract saying that you will not boycott Israel. So I'm a software engineer. I wanted to sign a contract for doing software engineering for the state of Maryland, and it turns out I had to sign a statement saying that I won't boycott Israel, and I refused to sign that statement. So I sued the governor, saying that he's violating my First Amendment rights with the help of Council on American Islamic Relations. And that lawsuit, I lost the lawsuit on a technicality, but now we're appealing that lawsuit to, we lost it in the federal district court. Now we're appealing that in the federal circuit court. So that's where we are. I'm trying to raise money for my campaign. My goal is to raise $40,000 by the end of the year. I've raised about $32,500. So I'm trying to raise the remaining $7,500, $8,000. Any help that people can give is greatly appreciated. I'll post this link, the donation link, in the chat, and would love to open the floor, have a sort of ongoing discussion. You know, I'm sick of talking. You guys should talk to me. Let's go.
Thank you for that, Saqib. Great background, great introduction. It's good to see that we have advocates in positions that could lead to some results here. And I think that's one of the things we want to do with our organization, is to pursue similar activities with other local politicians. Obviously, I think it's open to everyone else. Hassan, if you can make sure that people can unmute themselves as needed, then that would be great. But I think one of the first questions I would ask, and you may not have a great, I think you will have a response to it, but we're in Hartford County, Saqib, live in Montgomery County. What can you do for us? We're Muslims here in Hartford County.
Sure. So that's obviously the obvious question, right? Right. But the answer is like, look, technically I'm going to be elected from Montgomery County if I win, but I'm not really going to be elected from Montgomery County, right? I'm going to be the Muslim delegate, right? I'm going to be the delegate representing Muslims from Maryland. That's what I'm going to be. And that's the water I'm going to carry, right? Now look at Ilhan Omar, right? She's from Minnesota. right? She's the representative from Minnesota's fifth district or whatever. But she's not really the representative from Minnesota. She's the representative of Muslims in America, or one of the representatives representing Muslims in America. Rashida Tlaib represents Muslims and Palestinian interests, right? Even though she's from Michigan, she represents something more than just a random district in Michigan. You see what I'm saying? So even though I'm going to be from one district in Montgomery County, I'm going to be carrying I'm going to be carrying water for a specific community in Maryland. And I'm going to be advocating for that specific community because of who I am and what I stand for. And I'm going to be listening to that community, And that's when I was there before, that's very clearly who I was and who I was representing.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Saqib. This is Nadeem from Texas. So I have joined on the request of Arshad Khwaja. He's my old buddy.
Cool.
I listened to your introduction, and there are a few things. This is just this is my 2 cents. That we Muslims we should represent everyone, irrespective of their religion, and why we are restricting ourselves to just Muslim community. Don't you think we are restricting ourselves? This is number one. And number two is what difference does it make if we sign that we will not boycott Israel? Because if we, I mean, what will we achieve if we, let's say, sign that, or if we do a boycott, let's say your county, if all the Muslims, if they boycott Israel, what difference will it make to Israel? So let's say if we sign the contract that, okay, we will not boycott Israel, it will not hurt our iman, or it will not hurt anything. So,
Okay.
these are my 2 cents.
Okay. So my wife is not Muslim. I represent her. And my neighbors are not Muslim. I represent them. Right? Is there a problem? Like, did I say I'm not going to represent the non-Muslims? I don't remember saying that ever.
No, I'm not saying that you said that, but this is my.
I think you said that.
No, I said that we Muslims should represent everyone, irrespective of their religion or irrespective.
I agree 100%.
Yes. Okay. So
I agree 100%.
We are in agreement on this then.
Yes.
And what about boycotting Israel?
What about it? Yes. So look, here's the thing. There is something, I don't know you heard about it. There's this thing called the US Constitution. Have you heard about the US Constitution? Nadeem, hi. Have you heard about the US Constitution?
Yes, I did.
Okay. There is a clause in this US Constitution, okay? It says that you have the right to free speech, okay? And the government cannot tell you that what to believe or what not to believe. And if you have a political idea that you do not agree with, they cannot withhold a benefit from you, okay? Now, whether you agree with Israel, whether you hate Israel or not, that's regardless, okay? Your iman, whether your iman is good or whether your iman is bad has nothing to do with it, okay? But the government should not tell you if you boycott Israel, we will withhold a benefit from you, because that is a restriction on your free speech. And that, my friend, violates the Constitution. Now, I don't know about, so all I'm saying is, I believe in the Constitution. That's all. Do you believe in the Constitution?
Yes, I do.
Terrific.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Saqib.
Walaikum assalam.
This is Faisal Saeed. I think I've met you a couple of times, probably in the same group or parties, but possibly not formally introduced with each other.
Cool.
I've heard about your work, and I think you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you, sir.
I totally agree with your position on the BDS ban, and we need to create pressure, whatever it is, whether it is little or it is more, but we do support the Palestinian cause, and we should support that in whatever way we can. I did hear about the Chinese entrapment camps. I'm from Kashmir, and
Yes.
I would want to know your position there and what you could do for Kashmiri cause. Number two, I heard you say you're a liberal Muslim. Can you define that statement when you say you are a liberal Muslim, and what do you really stand for? And what are your positions on controversial topics? And how would you navigate through those controversial topics to ultimately get leverage for Muslims in general? If
Sure.
I'm supporting you, I do expect you to represent me and most of the general Muslims like Ilhan Umar or Talib. They're doing fantastic work. And I do want to see you sometime at some point in the same position. And that is what we will be investing in you for. So I do want to know your positions on that. There are many other questions when we have subsequent meetings, so I don't want to take everybody's time here, but I do want you to answer those questions.
Sure. And I thank you very much. So firstly, I didn't say I was a liberal Muslim. I said I'm a Muslim, and I said I'm a liberal. So I'm a Muslim, and my political position is liberal. So those two things are separate. Just I just want to make that clear, that I didn't say I'm a liberal Muslim. I'm a Muslim, as my religion is Muslim, and my political position is liberal. And as far as Kashmir goes, there is a huge injustice going on in Kashmir. Okay, the lockdown that came well before coronavirus, it's just a horrible human rights atrocity. Okay, I think it's 270 or 370, or I forgot the number, but the thing that the Modi passed to take away the autonomy of Kashmir and allow other people also to buy land there and change the demography of Kashmir. It's terrible, you know. And just the general Hindutva laws they're passing. I think in UP they just passed a law to ban this garbage love jihad law, which is basically banning Muslim men from marrying Hindu women. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, and Donald Trump never said one word against all these atrocities that are going on in India. This is terrible. Okay, it's monstrous. It's horrific. All these human rights violations by the Modi government. And I can't stress enough how opposed to these things I am. And if I ever get a chance to be in federal office, you know, I will raise my voice, and I'm raising my voice now. And I think every private citizen also should raise their voice against these terrible things. That's my very clear position against these injustices. And I hope Joe Biden will at least, the thing is with Trump, it's crazy. He's in favor of human rights violations. That's what it seems. And, at least in the past, sometimes, American presidents haven't opposed these human rights violations strongly enough. This guy's been in favor of human rights violations, but at least maybe we'll get some improvement with Joe Biden. I want to remind everybody, please, I have posted the donation link for my campaign in the chat. Please, if you support me, please go to that link, click the link, make a donation. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Saqib. This is Brother Hassan Shah here in Hartford County, Maryland. I have a question for you.
Welcome.
First of all, I want to thank Brother Urshid and Brother Wish for putting this together. And we thank you for being, here and, sharing, some insight
Thanks, bro.
about yourself and what you're doing. May Allah bless you. May Allah keep you steadfast. And may Allah protect you from evil eye and all types of opposition. Other than being, and here's my question, other than being politically involved, registered to vote and all that, what would you like, or what would you like to say to the Muslim Ummah in the state of Maryland? Like maybe, 3 or 4 pointers for us, to be engaged and how we can make a difference going forward. So what are like the top few things that come to mind for how you would like for the Muslim Ummah to be and what we should be doing going forward?
Oh, sorry. Okay. I want you to run for office. Okay. Let me tell you something. I ran for office in 2006 in Montgomery County. Montgomery County, there's a lot of Muslims, right? There's a lot of very smart, high achieving people, Muslims in Montgomery County, doctors, lawyers. There's many millionaires in Montgomery County, Muslims, amazing people, highly competent people. When I ran in 2006, I was the only candidate who pulled it off and won, okay? And then I lost in 2010, and now 10 years later, every 4 years there's an election, and every 4 years Muslims run. And the caliber of Muslim candidates is extremely low. And I can tell you, even before they run, that none of them are going to win. And so the caliber of Muslim candidates running in Maryland is pretty poor. Now, you probably know Hassan Jalisi. He is a successful Muslim candidate, and he has won. And there has been Bilal Ali in Baltimore. He has won. And there's a couple more here and there. But, I meet very highly, very competent, high achieving Muslims throughout the state. But very few of them are actually willing to run for political office. So that's the challenge. And all of them want to see our community succeed and prosper, but very few of them are willing to actually run. And probably that's because they're making, they have very lucrative careers and they don't want to sacrifice that. So that's the challenge, right? So that's maybe if they want to finance their children's careers, finance their children's runs for offices, or finance somebody else's runs for office, somehow we have to break this Gordian's knot. So that's the issue. I'm doing it again now because for 10 years, I couldn't balance. I didn't think I was ever going to run again. Okay. Because when I ran last time, it put a real dent in my professional career. But strangely enough, the coronavirus switched my job to full remote. And because we are now full remote, it's allowing me to do my campaign. It's allowing me to do campaign and now again balance my job. So that's why I can do it. And it looks likely that even when coronavirus ends, the remote nature of my job will still continue. So take that for what it's worth. And so if you have young people, you know, even the young people, you know, they're not really into politics, you know, the ones that are, you know, sometimes they don't really have what it takes to run. You know, it takes a certain level of, it takes a certain caliber to run and win. And you can just kind of see it in some people. And you can see that some people
Saqib,
don't
do
have
you
it.
think it would be beneficial at some point in the future, maybe where you could give some advice on that? What is the process? What it takes? What is the commitment level required? So some of the young people in our community can possibly think about this opportunity.
I mean, you know, honestly, it's not something that's teachable.
Mm,
You know, I mean, I could, but you know, it's like it's like at the NBA. It's like if you have the NBA, right? If you have to tell somebody this is how you get to the NBA, they're not going to get to the NBA, you know. But if you have a kid who spends all his time practicing in the gym, that's the kid who's going to get to the NBA, right? You know, if you have some kid who's always watching YouTubes and just always practicing obsessively, he's the kid who's going to get to the NBA. And if you have to tell some other kid, go practice, go practice, go practice, go practice, he's not the one who's going to get to the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more than happy to do it,
right.
but I've done it so many times, and the kids, you have to keep telling, they're not the ones who do it, unfortunately, you know.
Let me ask you, so can you speak a little bit more about your campaign? What office are you running for? What are you seeking? When are the primaries? When is the election? When is that coming about?
Sure. um, I'm running. So I was a state delegate, which is the, you know, the General Assembly has two chambers, the House and the Senate. I was a member of the House, and I'm running again for a member of the House in this. Okay. I live in the exact same house in the same home I lived in previously. Okay. But the politicians, they redrew the districts. They played a game because I lost the Senate race. They played a game so I could never run against the same senator again. So I'm in a different district. They gerrymandered my house. So I'm in an adjoining district. So I'm in a different district. So I'm running for the same position in a different district. The election is a long way away. The election's in June. The primary election's in June of 2022. But I decided I would start really early to give myself a head start. So the primary is in June 2022. The primary is the only thing that matters. If I win the primary, I'll win the whole thing. Democratic primary. And so it's a year and a half away. There are 3 seats and there are 3 incumbents. Now I'm running. So there's 4 people running for 3 seats. Okay. I have to beat one of them. Top 3 win. Okay. But I don't know if all 3 of them are going to run. Maybe one of them is not going to run. Maybe 2 of them are not going to run. Maybe all 3 of them are going to run. We don't know. In fact, I've talked to all 3 of them and they don't know if if the other ones are going to run. Nobody knows. And so we don't know who the candidates are going to be. And so I'm just running, and we don't really know who the candidates are going to be. And to complicate it even more, there is going to be redistricting going to happen in sometime in 2021. So they could redraw the lines and we could all be in different districts. We don't know. So it's very complicated. And the bottom line is that there's a lot of question marks and we don't really know. So the best thing to do is just start running, prepare to run without knowing what the district is going to be or who the candidates are going to be, but just start preparing and raise money. Now, what we do know is that on January 13th, there is a fundraising deadline in which everybody has to declare how much money they have raised. I started my campaign on June 28th with $0. And I decided if I could raise $40,000 by January 13th, it would be a big showing and people would be like, wow, this guy's got a great campaign. He's raising a lot of money. This is great. He's on track to win. Okay. If I show $40,000 on January 13th, people will be impressed. And that itself will start having domino effect whereby it may cause somebody to retire, or it may cause other people to endorse me, or it may cause a whole host of good things to happen. So my goal is to raise $40,000 by January 13th. I have $32,000 already raised. So things are looking good, tentatively, cautiously. But I need to raise $7,500, $8,000 more dollars in the next few weeks. So whatever help people can give me, I need help.
Hi, Saqib. This is Yuvish Bhati from Hartford County as
Assalamu
well.
alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Quick question, why
Yes, sir.
40,000? And how does this redistricting affect you? I know you do not know how the lines will be drawn, but it could work in your favor or against your favor, of course.
Yes.
Again,
So-
why 40,000 and go ahead.
The $40,000 is an arbitrary number I picked before I started my campaign. It's an arbitrary number I picked that I thought would be impressive. I thought, okay, what would be an impressive number to hit? And I thought, okay, in 6 months, I started in June 28th. I started my campaign. So I thought in about 6 months, $40,000 would be good, because if you do the math at that rate, it would be a whole lot of money by the time the election came. So $40,000. I mean, I don't know. It's an arbitrary number I picked, but it's a strong number. Okay, so $5,000 would be bad. That would be like a poor showing. People would say, wow, he's not raising a lot of money. And I want them to say he's raising a lot of money, So 40,000, I mean, it's a bit arbitrary, but I had to pick some number to hit as a goal. So that was the number I picked. The redistricting, nobody knows actually exactly how redistricting works. In fact, redistricting is going to be happening throughout the whole country. Every congressman in this country almost is subject to redistricting. And nobody really knows how it's going to play out for them. There's a lot of question marks. Every congressman throughout the country is subject to redistricting and doesn't really know. You could ask the same question of any congressman, who is your congressman, actually? You're muted. You're still muted.
Mine is Dutch.
Dutch Ruppersberger. So you could ask the same question of Dutch Ruppersberger, and he would tell you the same thing. Well, I'm not really sure what's going to happen, and I don't know, but I'm going to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So and the best way to prepare is to raise a lot of money and be strong, and we'll see what happens. So if I have $40,000 in the bank and I have a lot of supporters, the way I feel is you can put me in any district, I'll still run, and I feel like I could win. whatever district they put me in, and in fact, what will happen is if I'm strong enough, the politicians in every district will try to be like, you take him, no, you take him, no, you take him. It'll be like a hot potato. Everybody's going to be trying to push me out because nobody will want me. I'll be a problem for each politician. You see what I'm saying? Because I might be a threat to anyone. That may happen. So we'll see.
Brother Saqib, I have another
Assalamu
question.
alaikum. What's your name?
Walaikum assalam. And
Hassan
Hassan
I didn't
Shah.
see you before.
Yes. Yeah, I had my window on my. So another question I had is that back in 2006, I know it was a different time period, and you, mashallah, won. But in that term that you were in, what type of backlash did you get and aim towards you being a Muslim or against the faith itself? And how do you overcome, any type of backlash that you faced? And I know it was a different time period before 2006. We were in that Al Qaeda and the whole war on terror and all that stuff. Now going forward, it's a different world that we're living in, right? So can you share a little bit about the animosity you felt back then and what you anticipate that you will be unfortunately faced with in the next run?
Yeah, truthfully, not that much. I mean, like I'm from Montgomery County, and around here there's not much. I mean, occasionally you get like a weird, like you see, we have weirdos, the occasional weirdo around here, but they're like the right. You get the occasional right winger around here, and you kind of laugh them off because they're like Trump, like right wingers, but they're oddballs, they're outliers here. Okay, so I'll tell you, like when I was running the first time in 2006, we had a guy, he came and he stood outside my house with a big sign that said Islam sucks. Okay, but we laughed at him and even in Montgomery, like it just seemed ridiculous, and everybody else laughed at him too. Even the non-Muslims laughed at him, and he went away. Now in Hartford County, it would be different, right? Because such people may not be in such a minority. So it's a very different kind of feeling. And when I went to Annapolis, I got more such comments, and I got kind of some hate mail, right? And we would get online comments from places like Louisiana and Oklahoma, nasty comments. But from my own constituency, it was very rare, and being a Muslim was actually a big asset, because honestly, I'll tell you, I knocked on a door. This was like a common thing. I knocked on a door when I was campaigning. I knocked on the door, opened the door. This old lady, she opened the door. This old white lady, okay, white hair, Catholic lady. She opened the door. She looked, I gave her my card, my literature, right? It had my name, Saqib Ali, on it. She looked at it. She looked at it like this. Says, your name's Ali. Are you a Muslim? I said, yeah, I'm Muslim. I'm going to vote for you just because you're a Muslim. Really? She's like, and I'm going to give you money just because you're a Muslim. Well, okay, thank you. And I'm going to volunteer for you just because you're a Muslim. Well, okay, that's very nice. And she became my campaign manager just because I was a Muslim, And this is like some old Catholic lady, So, what are you going to do with that? So there's a lot of like people like that, who wanted to be anti-racist, at least where I lived, and it far outweighed any of the other side. So, at least where I live. So, and you know, I run in Democratic primaries, right? So I don't care what happens with Republicans, you know. So, no, you know, so the backlash, I'm insulated from the backlash in Democratic primaries. So, whatever that's worth.
Just as a contrast, Saqib, when you come to Hartford County, for example, you visit us today. As I was passing by the mall with my wife, there were at least 20 Trump supporters standing with their Trump 2020 flags out and signs saying, "Don't silence our vote." So that's the contrast you feel.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a different world, right? Yeah, it's like a totally different world.
All right. If it looks like we're up on the 1 hour mark at this point, unless someone else has a question. Um, Hassan, anyone else have a question out there?
Not that I see. So it looks like
Okay.
we're good. We can wrap up.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Saqib, thank you so much for joining. I think it was very, very interesting, your topics of discussion and what you're doing out here. We're proud of you. That I will certainly say. We are all proud of you. We look up to you in terms of experience of being involved in politics. We'd also like you to become a model or a role model for those amongst the youngsters in our community that are still politically active and leaning towards politics. So we want to thank you for that. Secondly, certainly we've got some time here, a year and a half or so. We will continue to support you throughout that. I would love to have similar sort of engagements with you. Once COVID is over, hopefully you can visit us in person as well.
Inshallah.
And so,
I appreciate
overall,
it.
yeah, and thank you.
All right. Do me a favor, everybody. Do me one favor. This is what you owe me. Please put your email address in the chat. Everybody who's on there. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 16 people on this chat. I would like to see 16 people post their email addresses here so I can add you to my email list. I would like everybody to post their email address here so that I can add you to my email list. And that way we can stay in touch and I can tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing.
I will say one thing, the one thing that motivated me, Saqib, to contact you again was the one email you sent a little while ago, just maybe a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, wherein this guy was attacking you. We talked about backlash. Like one guy who attacked you on Facebook.
Yeah.
Your names,
Twitter.
Weird things about Muslims. And I realized at that point, we've got to stand up.
Yeah.
And so that was a great impetus.
But like I said, that's a outlier.
It is an outlier.
Yeah. So, okay. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. That leaves 9 to go. 11 to go. $10 to go. Oh, well, I don't need to put mine, so that's 9 to go. $8 to go. I don't see Zubair's. Very good. Okay.
Logged in from work. I know he's usually working, and so it's probably.
How about Masood Anwar and Fanu Fahim?
Fahim was one of the first ones to join, so.
Yeah, but did he put his email address in?
Yeah.
Zubair,
Zubair saying that he's already on your list.
Okay, yeah, but what about Salah?
Oh yeah.
Azuz is asking what I think about the ladies in Congress. I think they're
He misspelled his name. His name is Aziz.
they're
What do
spectacular.
you think of the few Muslim ladies that made it? So Aziz, maybe you missed the beginning, earlier portion where Saqib talked about them, but you might just want to summarize there.
I think they're spectacular. I think they're. I do wish that Rashida Tlaib would swear less. I do think she would do a great job if she didn't curse.
Just to let everybody know, this session was recorded. So if anyone wants to view it later, we can certainly share that with everyone.
You should have advised people of that beforehand. Although I do see that it does say that, but it would have been good to warn people of that. Azuz, did you post your email address? Yeah, you did. Aziz Osmani, yes. Okay, so Masood Anwar, do we have your email address? Masood Anwar, do we have your email address? I don't see Masood Anwar's email address. I don't see Fahimuddin's email address. I don't see Aram's email address.
Yeah, I think you already got Faisal, so that's a family.
Do I have, who's Fanu? Do I have, oh, is that Faisal Said?
No, that's Fahim. So Fahim is missing. So I'll ask him to.
What about Aram?
Iram's email is over there.
Oh, is it? Okay. How about Raj?
Yeah, he's
Raj is there.
Raj is there too.
Nadeem is there too. We have Zubair. How about Hartford County Muslims?
That's a husband. I think
Okay.
too. HSNY.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we have everybody then?
I think just about.
So except for two of them, I think Masood and Fahim, but like Arshad was saying that, can maybe sound a little bit wrong.
So who's in charge of getting those, tracking those down?
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him from both of them.
Okay, thank you, dude.
So no problem.
All right. So we're gonna end this up.
Yeah, thank you again, Saqib. It's been.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can do this again soon. Thank you. Aziz,
Anytime.
for the thumbs up.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
And,
It's my pleasure. Really, thank you for pulling this together so on a pretty
It was
quick
short
notice.
notice.
No,
Yeah,
it's good. We moved quickly, right?
Right.
I don't like dilly-dallying.
Right,
It's
good.
great.
Good.
Thank you
Right.
very much.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck in your efforts, Saqib. We're with you. We're here.
Assalamu alaikum.
And inshallah, we'll see you
Okay.
soon. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone else, for joining. Great of you to join this first meeting of ours.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Everyone, assalamu alaikum, signing off.